Well, this game you have white, and not looking. I mean, we are going to look at some specifics. So I love it. I'm glad you tried it. The only things you have to know what to do is in case of this, and it's pretty much forced, right? Because everything else looks hard,
Right.
and then the queen has to leave. But this is the good move. Now, here's what I always have to remind myself. You're going to take a pawn. Which one?
I'd probably take the one that threatens the knight.
You probably take the one that threatens the knight.
D5.
There's no pawn threatening the knight. Oh, you take here to threaten the knight.
Right.
Yep, and that's good. This one is bad. Because now, when you do this move... Oh, I'm sorry, you can't do that. Never mind. It's not yet. My bad. I think he does this first, then the knight moves. Yeah. Yeah, because you still don't get that with the knight there. My bad. Hey! Your head hurts, Phantom? Welcome. All right. So anyway, he took, which is fine by you, right? Because now you're playing a King's Gambit delayed, or we know what it is. It's the Vienna Gambit. So we're happy. You get to play your opening. So that was fine. You were fine at this point, but I know you mess up someplace here soon. Or is this the game that you did? So, by the way, I wrote in your chat.
I both of them.
I wrote in your notes. Huh?
Uh-huh.
You know what
I messed up both of them. Go ahead.
Oh, but you know what I wrote in your notes for this move?
What? His move or my next
one?
one?
Did?
Oh, yeah.
Yes, sir.
It's more
Phantom.
popular. It's making a comeback.
It's not making a comeback. This is not a move we want to show people as if it was
my
a good
retired
choice.
numbers were making a comeback.
No, this is like showing the bomb cloud and saying, "See, it works." No, this is the LeMurf move. Your opponents are making. Move is named after you. So you should at this point be saying to yourself, "Hey, wait! They murfed the pawn. I know this is bad. I know because I've done it." Yes, I like kettle flavored popcorn. The kettle, is it just called kettle corn? Anyway, yeah, this is just bad. And I love this. You take over the center. You threaten the pawn. Not that it's not protected. This is you played this to the T. And then he blunders because he murfed the pawn. This is what you used to do when I play you. This is like, and you took full advantage of it.
Yeah.
Good job. You take the knight. He takes back with the queen. And you continue to develop. We're happy. He castles. You castle. We are ecstatic. He moves the queen. Why do you think he moved the queen? What's up with that move? Because he was here. Hey, he was here, and now he's here. Is that better for him?
I didn't really understand that.
Good. There is nothing to understand. It's bad moves. So it does nothing for him. It does nothing for him. So I would love it if you continue to develop. Here, a weird move. You could actually attack the bishop. Watch this now. You attack the bishop. You at the same time keep the knight out of the square later. And if he takes, yes, you double your pawns, but it came towards the center. And now if he tries to get rid of your bishop, you've got a nice place to run back to. And this long diagonal can stick in his throat forever. And you still have this option too to chase the queen. So, a rare occurrence when I would say, push a pawn, don't develop, hope that he try to force this pawn, this trade, and take towards the center, and now your bishop has freedom, and your bishop has a hole. It's one of those exceptions to the rule. Okay, but you did. You moved your knight. Now you said you freed your knight. I don't know what that means, because it's not in jail. It's not trapped. You didn't.
Well, he was threatening it. It was pinned. We got rid of the pin.
A long time ago.
Yeah, and then I just freed it. I took it out of being threatened.
You kept him from trading it.
Right. Okay. I don't know how
But
you
what I
word that.
will
So,
say I liked was that now you're attacking this pawn twice.
right.
The
Right.
negative is, except this exposes his king, you're kind of enticing him to find more pieces to protect the pawn, and now I don't know, I feel like you're getting cramped. You know, I don't feel like you're expanding. I mean, you could do this, chase the bishop, and then see what else you can get. But although this is bad, right? Because he opens up his king. This is bad. But his queen is over here. He might get his bishop into play.
I would probably go bishop to d2.
Yeah, I mean, you could, and
rather than the pawn.
And he'll probably trade off. But then again,
Right.
he might Murph his bishop again. He did it earlier, so who knows? I mean, you're up a piece, right? So you're up a piece. So if he wants to open up his king side after you Murph's a piece, do it. Does knight to d5 do this? Oh, okay. No. So knight to d5 here, but it's not his move, right? So here, yeah, knight to d5 is nice. It would say it keep him from trading. So check it out. Good call, Phantom. Keeps him from trading. Fantastic. Attacks the pawn twice, but more importantly, he doesn't have tempos to do this because you're also attacking this pawn. Now, at the higher level, you're also attacking the bishop, threatening to trade the bishop for the knight, but we know you don't like to do that anyway. So this would be an option. He'd probably go back and Murph the pawn again so he can protect everything with that one move, and your knight could get to sit here for a little while. I still want to win this eventually, right? So I might do things like this even. Sack it and open it up, because then the rook and the... But anyway, yeah, so either way, I'm not crazy about that. Not crazy about it, but I mean, it worked out for you. This worked out for you. Because he attacks your bishop. You chase the queen. Yes. By the way, he's able to attack the bishop, free his bishop, because you moved the knight. Right? So Phantasm says, nice position, LeMurf. You rock. All right, so yeah, now you've got a nice attack on the queen. Queen has to leave. Let's see what happens. Oh, my knight bot is totally wrong. Hold on, let me fix my night bot. Maybe that's tomorrow. Maybe Sudakus will do hand and brain with me again tomorrow. But right now we're doing the one-on-one lesson. Okay, good. Thank you. I had to fix my night bot. It was off the rails. All right, so we are attacking the queen. The queen moves, and find me a move, Murph. Because you're what you said in your chat threw me off. I was totally lost. So in your chat, right, in your analysis, you said, do I take the pawn on f4 and threaten the queen? So you even saw, take it with the knight. Do I take the pawn on f4 and threaten the queen, or do I threaten the bishop? By the way, you could threaten it two different ways.
Right.
This way actually at least does two things, right? Also keeps the bishop off of that diagonal. But anyway, but you did this move. So I don't understand the question. You're asking me, take free candy and chase the queen, something of greater value, or just chase this bishop that's doing nothing. The queen's not doing much either, but this bishop is doing nothing. Why is that a question?
Well, it wasn't a question. It was more a comment that you can understand that I'm seeing that I have both options. So I put my two options. I put my two options on the table for you because usually you ask me, "Do I see something else?"
Yes.
So I'm letting you know that I do.
I'm excited.
The reason I went this is because that bishop is protected, so it's kind of there.
What bishop
I'd like
is
to get
protected?
it out of there.
Oh, here?
Yeah.
So wait, so why do you want to get it out of there? Because it's protected.
Well, it doesn't.
I need you to help me help you think differently. So tell me why this bishop is bothering you at all. First of all, why is it bothering you?
Well, it's not. It's not so much that it's bothering me. It's paying attention to it because it's on my side of the board.
So what?
It's protected.
Wait. Stop. Let's back up because we have to deal with each thought process. It's on your side of the board, but knights, when they're on your side of the board, they attack all these weird squares, and knights get stronger as they get closer, but bishops can attack you from long distance, right?
Right.
This bishop is still on your side of the board, and it's attacking all the way over here on that side. This one is still on your side of the board, and it attacks all the way to his side. So, if that bishop is here, he's still attacking the same squares. That bishop goes here, he's still attacking long range. So the first thought we need to change in your mind is, if a bishop is on your side of the board, that doesn't make it any more dangerous. A queen on your side of the board doesn't make it any more dangerous. Now, if either one of those is close to your king, then I might say, okay, I'm with you. Let's worry about it because it's close to your king, wherever your king is. But that's not anywhere near your king. And it's on your side of the board by one row, but bishops can attack from long range. So, okay, so first thing is, let's not worry about bishops or queens solely because they're on your side of the board. That makes no difference. Knights on your side of the board, pay heed. Be aware. Bishops and queens, I don't care. Okay, and rooks. If rooks are on your side of the board, let's worry about them. Not bishops. And not queens. Okay, so go ahead. What's your next? You were giving me multiple reasons.
It's protected.
Yes, I don't understand that logic at all. So what? So what? Why would I attack it because it's protected? I don't understand I'm lost on the logic to say
well,
because something is protected, I should attack it.
If he's building up an attack, he's got two pieces there, and one of them is on my side. I grant you that at long range it wouldn't matter.
Okay.
And it's protected, as opposed to like the pawn that's just sitting there by itself, unprotected.
So show me you said they had two pieces. If he was building up
this knight is protecting this bishop.
So what are the two pieces that are building up the attack? The bishop, and what's the other piece?
Well, this is here to protect this. So he's got two pieces out, and this is he's controlling all of these squares here.
He's attacking, not controlling. He's attacking, not controlling. You can't put the rook there, and you can't put the queen there, but you're not controlling because you could put any of these other minor pieces there.
Okay.
Okay, yeah. So if you didn't have minor pieces that could go there, I'd say he's controlling those squares, but he's not really, right? He is keeping the queen and the rook out. That is true. Yes. If the bishop is actually annoying, and that's part of the problem, Phantasm, we want to find out why this bishop is drawing Murph's attention so much. Because for me, it's not a threat. So it's not a threat. You're right. It does keep the queen and the rook out of those squares. But other than that, it's not a threat. You said that you felt like he's building up an attack and he has two pieces. But you also in this next breath say that the purpose of this knight is to protect the bishop. So this knight is not partaking in the attack. So if that knight could be here instead, Murph, or here, then I might say, oh my gosh, he's building up an attack. But if you tell me that the second piece that's part of the building an attack is protecting the first piece, and that's all he's doing, you're not building an attack. Another thought process is this knight, you said it's there to protect the bishop. That's not true. The knight is there to attack the center. It is just by dumb luck, it's protecting the bishop.
Okay.
That knight was not put here to protect the bishop. One, because the bishop wasn't under attack. And two, the knight goes here because it's the best square for the knight so it can attack the center. Not so it can protect this wayward bishop. Okay?
Okay.
All right, good. Any other reasons why you don't like that bishop?
No.
Okay, Phantasm asks a
The,
great
the,
question.
the reason I decided to go after the bishop, the deciding factor, was the pawn is not going anywhere. It's
Yeah,
blockaded.
the pawn's not going to move, but will it always
Right.
be free?
That's a different story.
No, that's the story.
That's right.
You're
Well,
not taking
yeah,
the pawn. So we're not I'm not saying take the pawn because it might move.
I know that.
Okay.
It's free.
So it doesn't matter if it's not going anywhere. If you told me he can't protect it, let's say there was a piece here like a knight or rook, right? If there was a piece on d6, so if I attack the bishop, there's no way for him to also protect the pawn, then have at it. Attack, you can do that's called an intermezzo or an in-between move. So I can take the time and do an in-between move like attack the bishop if that pawn can't be protected by that bishop. So if I chase this bishop, Murph, he only has 3 squares that doesn't lose the piece, right?
Right.
Okay. So where would this bishop, you don't like the bishop here. Is there any other squares you might not like him at?
Probably A5.
Okay. And if you didn't like him at A5, let's say he went here and he went to A5. So you don't like him at A5, I'm going to guess you're going to do this. Do you like him here better?
I like him there better, but I wouldn't.
Why?
I've learned not to chase him, so I would not. I wouldn't do that. I wouldn't go after him any further.
Oh,
I
really?
wouldn't do B4.
Why not?
I'd be extending my pawns. I wouldn't. At this point in the game, I wouldn't do that.
So then, okay, then I'm totally confused. So this move, where did you want him to go?
Yeah, like I said, I think later on I said in hindsight, it's not I probably because he went. I think he went and protected the pawn.
But I'm just saying, you said here you wouldn't chase him again.
Right.
Right. You said here you wouldn't chase him again. So that wouldn't be and you don't like it there.
Right.
So if you don't like him here and you wouldn't chase him again, you don't like him here because he protects the pawn that was free. And it still is, right? It still is. When you have 2 pieces, he only has 1. And you might not like him here, maybe, I don't know. But so my question is, and this is you had a choice. Grab a pawn and chase the queen.
Right.
Queen has to move somewhere.
Right.
You're giving him opportunity. Look, and the queen can't go here. Queen can't go here. Queen can't go here.
Right.
Okay. The queen can't go here. Queen can't go here. Or here, or here. So now we're down to that queen only having this square and this square to go to and survive. And survive. So let's say we were to do that and the queen has to hit one of these two. So look how many moves he could do, bad moves. He can lose his queen if he goes to any one of those other squares, right?
It's the wrong choice.
Okay. By the way, if the queen goes here, you have the same kind of alignment I'm telling you don't encourage him to do.
Right.
Because now that knight can move for free, attacking the bishop, attacking the pawn, and discovering an attack on the queen.
Right.
So the queen would have had all these bad moves. The only good move for that queen is that's the only good square for that queen. Absolutely the only good square for the queen. And then if you wanted to chase him again, you could actually weaken your pawns and chase him again right away. Or you could just grab the pawn, or you could chase the bishop now.
Right.
All right, so you have so many more options, and you gave him more opportunities to fail. So the choice shouldn't have been a hard choice. And definitely we don't want to choose this one because that bishop is not helping his game. But by you attacking him, you force him to go someplace. And while you still get to take the pawn and still get to take the bishop, we've lost that bishop. We've lost that opportunity for the discovered attack we were setting up. And look where he went, Murph. Now, he might not have gone there if we hadn't we hadn't given him, but look where he went, Murph.
Right.
So he could have went there, and if he had went there, you would have been so happy because you would have had the discovered attack. Right? So, yeah, we want to, whenever we can, play chase the queen over chasing a bishop, especially when we get to take a pawn immediately and have our pieces still ready to go. I mean, we're ready to attack his king side. Why am I wasting time with this bishop? I want to attack the king side, and he's giving me a ready-made attack. Look, I mean, feel the power. You got the bishop, you got the bishop, you got the knight, you got the knight. Murph, you're scaring me. I wouldn't want to play as black in this game at all. I would not want to play black in this game right now at all. So, I know I'm not trying to berate you or beat you down or anything like that.
No, I'm with you.
I need to get into your head why choosing this over this was just I don't want you to ever even contemplate that again. And
Right.
part of it is you're thinking this bishop is bothersome, annoying, or dangerous. And he's not, unless you're dying to get your queen onto one of these squares, unless there's some reason you need to put this rook on this square, there's no reason to chase the bishop. And if I'm going to chase the bishop, I'm probably going to chase it this way anyway, because that way it shores up my center pawn.
Right.
And I can drop back the bishop. I can also prop the queen up here and do this later. Gives me a lot of options. This one gives me no extra options. Right? This one says, hey, I got a spot for the queen, I got a spot for the bishop, and I'm protecting the center pawn. So even if I'm going to chase the bishop, I'm going to chase it this way. So this is the best move, because it just opens
Right.
the game up for you.
Mhm.
But if you don't see this move and you say, I'm going to chase the bishop, this is still the better way to chase the bishop. Make sense?
Fair enough.
Yes,
Yep,
Phantasm.
yep.
Just so you know. All right. The rest of this game, I don't necessarily want to look at the rest of this game. And the reason I don't want to look at the rest of this game is because I need you to remember this so much. This is so important for you to remember this part that I don't even want to really look at how, he might have caught back up and dropping pieces back and forth, right? All right, let's go to the next game. Boom, boom, boom. That's the end of the game. All right, you got into trouble in this one. All right, this is pretty solid. No problems. Yeah, so I don't understand that move again. Help me with that move. Is it because you're worried about him doing what I do to you and trading off the bishop?
That and it keeps the knight out.
Yeah, but okay,
Out of B4.
So we're back to
It opens up a spot for the bishop,
Yes, it does. But
and it keeps the knight out.
B4 shouldn't bother you. What's the knight doing here that you're bothered by it? I'd be more worried about what I do to you, where I force a trade of the bishop. I'd be more worried about that. And me, I'd probably go check, and then here, because this took away the squares for the knight. And then if he wants to overextend, I'd say let's do it. And then if he wants to trade, I'm okay, because now his pawns are a little extended and harder to defend. So I do this kind of thing. But yeah, I don't understand this move. Because it doesn't help me develop. I have a bishop that's trapped behind two pawns. I need to get that bishop developed. This is your job in the opening. Develop as fast as possible. Now, also, the opening begs for it. This opening begs for this. You chase, and if he comes, and if he can't even come after you yet, so you can pin him. But let's say he says, I'm going to double up on you. I know we don't like to open up our king, but normally this happens. Because if they take with the bishop, you just take. they take with the knight, you take this one because you can. And then you're threatening, oh wait, they can't because you'll just take their queen. Never mind. They can't even take with the knight because we pinned them, which is always nice. And if he takes, you're like happy because now you're going to get him to have double pawns. And the bishop is still hanging, so. But anyway. Yeah, this would be normal. Now, if you had played this move to keep from getting pinned and allowing this to double up on you, that move I would accept as an exception to the rule. But this move is the wrong side of the board. You're missing this threat. And now, to be honest with you, I'd rather see you come back here and stop his chances. Just say, okay, I'm not going to have this diagonal after all. But this is okay. But now you have to be ready. See, I mean, you did everything the same except this is a wasted move. And so now when he attacks you, you have to realize I'm going to be in trouble if he takes and doubles my pawns. So usually we go here, but see again, because we lost tempo, we can't get our bishop into the game as quickly. But this is still normal, although you got to be careful. So like if he takes this way, you could take that way. If he takes with the pawn, starts getting whack-a-doodle. The good news is he has no good square to put this, except for back here. He has no good square to just throw it that would allow this attack, right? He has no check with the knight. He has no check with the knight. But he does have, like, oh, he doesn't have this. That's good news. That helps you. So right now you're threatening the knight with a pawn. So he has to deal. And by the way, you could just say, go ahead, you take mine, I'll take yours. And you can say, I'll just take yours. And he still can't get, right? He still can't get there yet. Which is good for you. I think he almost needs to do that just so he can get the check in. And yeah, he's going to get to harass you a bit. He can't take though. So he might even be able to get a perpetual eventually. Maybe not. Maybe you can run around. Anyway, that would have been a pretty interesting game. But yeah, you have to realize, and this is a very good pattern for you to learn. Awesome pattern for you to learn is pin. We're going to double up with the knight. We have to deal. We have to deal with all that. So you got into big trouble. And then yeah, this is that was big trouble. I do want to go back. I said I didn't want to look at the end of this, but there was another pattern that I want you to memorize. So here was a funny part, and I already put it in your notes. We don't need to go over it. But what do you think is a good move here, Murph? I'm sorry. White to move.
Well, this is where I lost the game because I threatened the knight.
Yeah, so you know that's not the right move. So what would jump out at you as another opportunity? So to me, what jumps out to me is doubling my rooks. It's on a semi-open file. I should want to double my rooks. This should be like almost automatic. I need to double my rooks. Right? I'm not finished. I mean, I've finished developing as in all my pieces get off the back rank, but my rook is no longer on the back rank. I need to connect my rooks to say I am well, if not fully developed. Yeah, no,
Okay.
no, it's more. So Phantasm asks, maybe Murph is like queen side minded, where you're always worried about the queen side more than the king side. And Phantasm, I'm pretty sure that's not it. I'm pretty sure what it is that pieces that are near Murph's side of the board bother him. And that's why I need to get him to know. You play poker, Murph?
Yeah.
Okay. I don't play poker, but I played penny poker with, in-laws and stuff like that. And so I've played a little bit, but I don't play anything serious. But you understand bluffs then?
Yes.
Okay. You need to look at pieces that are on your side of the board, like the bishop was earlier and this knight is now, and decide if it's a bluff. And I would argue that most of your reactions are unnecessary. They're like the bluff worked. They're like bluffing, and you fall for it. Because this knight really has no. Let's look at the scope of the knight. These are the squares the knight hits.
Right.
So this square is not open. It's taken by 2 pieces, not taken by 2 pieces, taken by 2 pieces, taken by a piece, taken by a piece, taken by 2 pieces. If he puts his bishop there, you're taking it as fast as you can. You actually have 3 pieces hitting that square. You have the bishop, the knight, and the rook. So that knight has a whopping total of 2 squares. So rather than chase him because he only has 2 squares, you should say, I don't have to move him, leave him. He has no threats. He has no threats. So if I told you, you could do whatever you want, that knight has no threats, I'm hoping you say, well, then I want to double up my rooks and maybe get this move in so I can really build up an attack on that pawn. Now,
What do you think
what you did was wrong.
What do you think of knight to c4?
No. Why don't I like knight to c4? Because knight on e3, let's see what knight on e3 is hitting. Okay. So it's hitting a center square. It's hitting this juicy square. It's hitting c4. And I want, by the way, I want my bishop there later because this diagonal he just made hard for me to do anything on. Right? This diagonal, that's his last move. His move blocked my diagonal. So this is my new diagonal where I can get to his king. Knights don't do, but I will say, while I don't like it as much as I like this, the part I like about it is you're playing chase the queen. I like it because you're playing chase the queen. That's better than chasing a knight. And by the way, as you know, you gave him a better square because that pawn was protecting a square. And when you move that pawn, you gave away that square and then you lost the game.
Right.
Hindsight is 20/20. So yeah, this is definitely better than what you did. And it plays chase the queen, but then you have to worry, okay, am I helping the queen get to a better square? I don't know. I didn't analyze it. But, maybe the queen steps up. But then you could chase him again. So you could play playing chase the queen is almost never bad. Chase the king, chase the queen, chase the royalty around. I can live with it. I might even like here better than LeMurf because these squares are weak and those give me checks.
Right.
We like checking the enemy king.
Well, until he moved the pawn to g6, we had the bishop checking the king with the discovery, with the queen.
Yeah, so let's talk about that. He attacked your rook. And you're attacking here, so what could you do? Could you have gone here to add to the attack? So now you have 2.
Yeah.
I think that would have been better, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. I think that would have been better. So we need when I talked before about getting you more aggressive, it's looking for opportunities to attack the king. And if you do the puzzles on Lee chess, a lot of them that are let's go after the king, then you'll see those more. You're missing opportunities to chase the king. And here, you want to even see it doesn't work, Murph. But if this pawn wasn't here, and if you can get that knight to move, you might say check and attack, discover attack.
That's what I was. Yeah.
I do like this because you don't have to worry about a discovered attack on your knight. On your queen. But also this is not bad because you're doubling up, and now when he does this, you've forced that a little bit. Now these dark squares are weak. So now you still have this threat. By the way, now you can go here to hit that long diagonal. I can even see you coming here to try to get here to get in here. See, these are how I want you to think. Okay, well now he's got another weakness. Can I get to him? Dag, if I move the knight, by the way, my queen can jump in there. So how about if we go back to this idea? All right, notice I don't care. There's no reason to worry about the knight. I'm attacking. He's got to worry about me. I'm not worried about him. He's got to worry about me. And so now maybe a good move for him is here, keeping your queen out. You can't take because you lose your queen. But now you can step over here and say, yeah, but I got this beautiful long dark diagonal that nobody's hitting. You could even have come here if you wanted to. That would be playable. Because if you go to either one of these squares, you're threatening to take. By the way, this one is kind of sweet. You're threatening to take because he can't take back.
Right.
Checks we don't care about. We just move out of the way. And we're still threatening to win the knight. So, I mean, you just have a lot of options, but the options have to come in you not worrying about where this knight is and either saying, I'm on the attack, I'm not going to defend my queen, I'm going to attack your pawn, would be better. But then at this point, it's let's keep attacking. Let's find ways to attack. I'm going to double up. I might do this next. I need to double up. I need to build pressure over here. Not you're worrying about this knight versus can I attack the king? I want you to attack the king, not worry about the knight. Okay, but there was a pattern, a definite pattern I want to show you. I thought it was in this game because he gave back all the material. No, this is not the game. All right, it must be in the last game because it's not in this game. All right, let's go look at the last game. There's the pattern that I already showed you with the what was it?
The knights and the pin.
Oh yeah. That happens a lot in Vienna type of setup. You got to be aware of the piling up on the pinned piece. All right. We can only see the top of the board. Yes. Murph is. Thanks, King. Murph, as you know, King, you already know that. Murph is basically our Wilson from Home Improvement. Yeah. So I'm Tim Allen and he's Wilson. Anyway, so this game. Let's look at this game. So remember I told you that, like you were talking about, when we were off stream before we started, you said that was funny that you said that Gotham Chess showed one variation for what was the French?
Yeah, advanced French.
He showed a variation for the advanced French. Was he showing it from the black or the white?
For black.
Okay. And you said that in the YouTube video, he recommended move X, but then in his paid for class, he actually recommended a different move.
Right.
So what's interesting to me though is openings. This is why I don't teach openings, because I would teach openings and variations of openings based on your strength, on your ability to consume it and use it. So as an example, there's nothing wrong with this Scandinavian. My daughter plays it. There's nothing wrong with the Scandinavian. John Bartholomew, a strong, very strong IM, swears by it. He plays it. And we don't care if GMs don't play it, right? Because an IM is way stronger than us, and if he can get away with playing it, then we should be able to. But we don't. And why? Because the same reason why GMs don't play it, because they would punish it better. And IMs, he can get away with it, but I'd have to check and see if he's played it against other IMs or GMs. My guess is he doesn't. So when you play an opening against two, what do you do it with, right? So Sudaku said he has a 75% win rate against the Stinky Navian. So the reason why I don't teach students to play this is because it's too easy for white to find good moves. So you just chase the queen, which you did. Now you can force a trade of queens, which chances are he doesn't like. But if he does, more power to him. So now you have the advantage because you're ahead in development and you're continuing to stay ahead in development, and you make moves like this, which actually I like this one. I don't like it for him. Now again, if you're an IM or something or better, yeah, you gave up the bishop for the knight. That's bad. And the IM would be, I'll take the double pawns because I'll know how to get rid of my double pawns, and you're going to be still down. I'm going to still have the bishop and you won't. I'm going to have both bishops. You're in trouble. But at my level even, I'm like, you have double pawns. And you show me that you're IM and you can play with two bishops better than my knights. And we know knights are tricksy, right? Even a GM, Simon Williams, the ginger GM, likes knights over bishops. A GM, Murph. So it's not unheard of. So what would I have done? If I was black, I would have developed another piece and broke the pin.
Right.
But he's so worried about, now the knight's got to move, and then but then it's a trade, right? I don't know where the knight's going to go, but now it's a trade. And after it's a trade, he's like, oh no, yeah, I don't know. I have no idea. But he's a beginner because he's 1500. So I like what you did. I like what you're doing. Now, he's attacking the pawn. You could say, I'm going to develop and attack your pawn. We'll trade pawns. The negative for you would be that, he's getting a pawn that's not doubled. You're getting one of the doubled pawns. I actually have no problem with this move. This is fine. It's playable. You're in the game. He's freeing his bishop. You've got to know he's freeing his bishop. And he's attacking the center square. All right. You did the move that Ben Feingold, the GM, says, never do this move. Never play F3, but I like it. Takes away these squares from, now it makes sense. You're taking away squares from the knight and the bishop. Okay. He comes a call it. The only threat he has is to double your pawns, Murph. Do you see that? These squares are taken. That's the only real threat. His other threat is to attack your pawn another time. Find me a move. And give me the logic for finding the move. Because, by the way, you didn't put in your notes that there was no questions in your notes on this. Which means to me that you don't see any, you're not seeing the options. And I want you to see the options.
Well, I thought about this for a little bit.
Okay.
If I take his knight, I undouble his pawns.
Yes, sir.
I did see that. I know that.
Good. But you did it anyway.
Yeah.
So what else could you have done? Your knight's under attack, so you got to deal with it. And he's threatening to double up on your pawn by coming here, so you might want to deal with that. So you could do moves like this, developing your last piece, number one job, develop a piece, but then when he attacks your pawn, you could protect this way, and now you have two pieces protecting, he has two pieces attacking. His bishop doesn't have that good square, and he can't hit this pawn, and you'd be safe, right? So that could work. And if he takes, this is how you should be thinking through your mind. You can take with the bishop and not double up your pawns, and you're still safe. Okay, so this would be, if you just followed the principle of developing your pieces, this would be the move. What's another move you can make that's not developing or moving, it would be moving a piece twice. It could be this move, Murph. It removes the attack by the bishop. It removes the opportunity for him to double your pawns. And you are not you're not giving him back his pawns.
Okay.
All right. And if he comes after your pawn, it's protected. So what do you care? And in fact, here you can even say, go away. Now I'm protecting, and I've got a nice pawn chain. Go away. Right? Because the square is protected. The square is protected. And if he takes, you should be pretty happy because now the knight gets kicked, and I have a duo of center pawns. And if he comes after your pawn, the same thing. You have no squares now, though. Actually worse. But now that we took here, he can't even go back. And now he loses his knight if he goes there. So this move didn't even come to mind, I'm going to bet. I'd be happy if this move came to mind because it would be developing and protecting the knight. And if you're willing to trade, then be willing to let him trade and not double your pawns and not fix his pawns. So the same thing happens. You take, he fixes his pawns, then you got to develop your bishop. But I get to develop the bishop with tempo, and now he has to find a move. Granted, he could say, okay, well then let's trade everything, but you still will end up better off. And you can actually just do this one if you want to right away and say, yeah, I got double pawns too, but I'm about to push on you and you're gonna have to find a new home, and you know, I'm okay. Oh, good question. I don't know if it oh yeah. So the question was, does it just lose to this? Now you take here, Murph, if he were to have done the bishop move. So again, if you developed, if he were to say, I'm gonna pile up, you can actually take. Because if he takes, you take with check. And you are up the exchange. You're up in rook for the bishop. And if he takes here, fixing his pawns, he just loses the piece. Now you're up a full piece. Yeah, nice catch, Phantasm. Nice catch. So this is a nice waiting move. Protects the knight, stops his shenanigans, and threatens that if he tries to put the bishop here, which is a French-like trick, by the way, that also happens, because you're going to be able to hit him again. I like it. I like it a lot. That's a nice move. So yeah, this I would want you to find. And the rule for finding it is you should be developing your pieces, and you said it, you don't want to help him fix his pawns. So if I want to develop my pieces, I don't want to help him fix his pawns, but I don't want to get my pawns doubled. Well, I add all that together and that's the move. That's all. You just had to remind yourself that I don't want to help him double his fix his pawns, and I want to develop my pieces. So that does everything I just asked for. And you still have this in the works later. You could do this to keep the knight out first, and then do that. You have all those options. And this is the only one that you'd have to really look at and say, can I do this? Well, yeah, you could protect this way and then chase him away next move. He's still going to have troubles. And you can still get this move in. Threaten to come back to this square. So you still have options. Anyway, and then you could do this one also, but the one we can't do is help him fix his pawns. We can't help him fix his pawns because our advantage is gone. And by the way, yeah, he has both bishops, which we don't know how good that's going to be in his hands. But if you undeveloped your piece, this piece was never developed. And this one is undeveloped. So he has one piece developed. You have none developed.
Mm-hmm.
Except for the castle. We count the castle. So you're at 1-1. By the way, is this a good move or bad move, Murph? Why'd you do this move?
To have a place for the knight to go.
Oh my gosh, really? That's the only reason?
Yeah, there's no place for it to go.
So can you find other ways to give him squares to go to?
Without making him move that bishop, no. That hurts the king.
Does it?
Well, it's you're taking away from the king's protection.
And when do we care about that?
We don't like to do that.
When don't we want to do that?
Well, the queens are off the board. I know what you're going to say. Yeah.
In fact, the queen and 2 of the minor pieces are off the board. Guess who's going to become one of your attacking pieces? That king is going to be an attack. You need that king to get out here and play.
I did. I did get it later on. If you
But
go
I'm
through this game,
saying, why not do it? So, one is you could do this now because you don't have to worry about the king protection because the queens are off the board and 2 minor pieces are off the board. The board is pretty closed up anyway. You have all these pawns. So yeah, you could throw the pawn at the bishop. That's 1. 2, you could just say, well, I'm going to move my king out first. I didn't do it even. But the problem with this move is, how do you get him out of there? He didn't do this, but how do you get him out of there? And I know that's hard for you to see, but you said you wanted to get to the next level. So the bishop, by the way, this is the bishop scope, right? We know the bishop scope isn't over here. We can't get our rook over here to protect this pawn. So that pawn probably will end up getting pushed. So maybe our bishop can go this way. I'll grant you that. But right now he already has scope. Now he has no scope. Well, he has only this scope. And yes, you have a place for your knight, but now he has a place for his bishop, so it's a trade. And I don't like you giving up this square when you don't have a light square bishop because you traded it for a knight. But anyway, let's see what happens. So far, I mean, it's not bad. What was that move?
We were planning on going to G4 with the pawn.
So what's, I like that plan move. So what's this move? It's almost as if you think you need to protect this pawn.
I did, because if I move the G pawn, I have no protection for that pawn.
What's going to be able to attack it, Murph? So you're we call that a phantom attack. You're seeing that, oh, if I move the G pawn like here, I'm going to lose that pawn. And that's true. If you move G3, I lose the pawn. So therefore, if I move this pawn, I lose this pawn. That's not true, because I can move 2, which is where you said you wanted it.
Right.
And you cut it off. Yeah. Now, if it was a piece hitting this way, yes, moving to either one would lose the pawn, and yes, that makes sense. So one is, yeah, it's just a phantom. You've got to get better, practice at seeing that that was a phantom, that no, you can go here, because you can't hit there. Next thing, why would I never want you to go here?
Yeah.
Alignment. Doesn't even matter that that pawn is there and is protected by the bishop. It might end up being protected by the rook. I never want you to put yourself in a line. You never want to pin yourself. You never want to create a discovered attack for your opponent. You never want to put yourself into a line. It's going to be a rare time when I say yes, put yourself in alignment.
The other thought here, could have been a few things going on thinking was G3, which is why we moved the king, because then we can free up the knight and have the rook protect the pawn. G3.
Yeah, and the king here, and that free. Right. Why isn't the knight free to move now? You don't need to do this to free the knight. You need to do this to free the bishop. The bishop's the one that's hitting it.
Right.
The knight's not protecting it. You don't need to do this to free the knight.
No, but just right.
I like this a lot better. I like this a lot better. This was aggressive. And you could have done it right away. But anyway. So you put yourself in alignment. And you did do G4, which again, you lost the tempo. So this pattern right now, Murph, coming up is the one you need to memorize. Where this happens many times is this is a pawn. Okay? It's not always a piece. A lot of times it's a pawn. And we end up attacking the bishop. Hey, thanks for the raid, Thinker Teacher. Let me give that man a shout out. Oh, by the way, Thinker Teacher, I have pre-made shout outs for Bumble Bobabee and for Metal Eagle. I'm going to make a predetermined, pre-created, ready to go shout out for Thinker Teacher. So whenever I talk about you, which I do from time to time on my stream, I can just do a shout out a lot quicker. So I have to do that. I got to remember to do that. In fact, let me make a note. Shout out for the Thinker Teacher. We are doing a one-on-one lesson with our man LeMurf. The man that I named a move after. This is how good Murph is. We named a move after Murph. So Murph, though. So a lot of times this is a pawn, but this is a pattern that I want you to learn. And what happens is, it looks like, because the rook is, and it's always with the rook. It looks like the rook can attack the bishop. But then what happens is just what happened. The bishop then attacks the rook again and usually hits the pawn. And here's the nasty part about it. The rook can't go back and protect the pawn.
Right.
Because all four corners, the bishop from the center of the tic-tac-toe box, you get tic-tac-toe, right? The bishop attacks all four corners from the center. And that's why in tic-tac-toe, your first move should be in the center box. If you get to go first, go in the center box. Anyway, but yeah, so the rook gets attacked and he has no way to come back and protect the other piece. Right? So this is common. This happens a lot. No, if this was if this was a pawn, then the rook can't get back and protect the pawn. Now this is even worse because he's losing a knight, thinker teacher. But I see this happen a lot more frequently where it's a pawn situation, where the bishop maybe takes this pawn attacking the rook. That isn't true. Where you take somewhere and the rook will come over and attack, and then you get to go here and attack the pawn and the rook. Okay. Yeah, you could try bishop to e3 and hope he takes the rook, but yeah, you're just in big trouble. Yeah, and then you don't, right? If you go here, you definitely don't take the exchange. You take the free piece because that's 3 whole points. If you take here, you only get 2 whole points. And not only did you get 3 whole points, now he can never get you out of this square. That bishop sits here and owns these squares for the rest of the game. 1. So that bishop will never be attacked. And even if it wasn't point differential, you have more pieces. So we want the more pieces. Yeah. You could hope that he would take the exchange. Maybe he makes a mistake and goes for the exchange. But yeah, Murph, so that's a pattern I really want you to learn. When this happened, you can't go chase him. And it's a 1-move attack, so he's got to move. So you should have been able to find it, that you could go, okay, well, he's attacking my rook. I can move here, I can move here, 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 or here. Well, here I attack the bishop. But 1-move attacks are rarely good because you're forcing them, unless they're totally blind, you're forcing them to find a better square for their piece. And you would have to see in your mind's eye, if I go here, where can he go? Here, 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 here. And you might say, ooh, I can't go there. Right? You might say, I can't go there. He could also push the pawn and say, I'm going to just keep that bishop there for a while. But that's bad, because then you could go here to trade him off. You can go here to trade him off. But yeah, no, best is obviously just win a piece. It's a free piece. But that's a pattern that you can memorize and learn. 1, you can use it against your opponent. And 2, you can stop falling for it, ever. But also you're playing a 1400, right? 1500, solid 1500, which means they make mistakes like this. All he's seeing is, I'm going to get a check and mate you. He didn't even pay attention that his bishop's under attack. All he sees is, I'm going to mate you. And whatever you didn't stop that, so I can go do it. And so, yeah. So he gets the check. Now here you have some choices, Murph. You could block with the rook. You can run away with the king. The only place I wouldn't want you to do is go down. Right? So now you're in trouble. You're in a bit of trouble. But you can come up. By going down, your problem going here is that now he owns the 7th rank, and what he should do is keep your king bottled up as long as he can, as well as he can, and get his king out and try to eat your pawns. But he goes after your bishop. You say, I'm going as far away as possible, so you can't get my bishop. Again, you might have needed to come here protect that square. But he's not seeing that, and he just said, "Ooh, I can attack this pawn, and I'm right? If you're getting this long range." So playing a beginner, if you hadn't went to where you should have, like maybe here, protect these squares. It's funny because he would have seen that because you were close, but because you went so far, you just left, and it's still like, oh, I can go there. No, you can't. So yeah, here you should win this game, and you do, right? Yes, yeah. You win this game. By the way, this is even a little risque here. Going after the pawn, after the bishop, he should have went here. You can't take the bishop, right? Because he's going to queen. So you got to come over. Which means he gets this one if nothing. Well, I wouldn't take that one because my bishop's hanging. But I can attack the rook and see what happens.
Now you fork them.
Oh, you get to fork them back. Yeah, no, that's nice. That would work. All right, so he can't do that. I don't like him doing this either. He could do it, but yeah, the pawn's going to fall no matter what. So
yeah.
So he might just have to find ways to try to keep his and let you take. But he's gonna now. At least he's attacking you.
Well, I just take the bishop there.
Oh wait, your pawn's going the wrong. I'm sorry.
It's okay.
That's me doing phantasmal work, right? I'm thinking the pawn's going the other direction. Oy vey. But yeah, so you're okay. Okay, so you were okay either way. I don't know why I'm thinking the pawn's going the other way.
I did look at some of this. The problem for him is his king is locked out.
Yes.
He can't get it.
Yeah, he picked a bad square. I'm getting lag even on your Zoom. Let me stop. Oh, I lost okay, I lost your picture. And my internet connection is unstable. And you're back. Hello.
Okay. Can you hear me?
Yep.
Can you hear me?
That. Yep.
That's okay.
Yep.
So
we lost you there for a minute.
Okay. I never lost you, so it was just me. But at this point, we kind of figured the king is locked out.
Mm-hmm.
The pawn is on the wrong color for the bishop, so it's not protectable.
Oh yeah, no, you're fine. You're up a rook for bishop. You're winning this game, and you should win this game. You're good at this point because he gave you back all his pieces. So
right.
Yes. Yep. No, that was great. Yes, he got murfed. Well, actually, he murfed his own pawn. So murfing is like when you block your own center pawns. But anyway, yeah, not bad. But we have some specific patterns for us to learn and to get used to. This is the one with the doubling up on your pinned piece here. This one we were talking about. What was the pattern here? This is where you got worried about that knight for some reason, right?
Yeah.
We don't worry about this. We either go to kill or at least double up, and there's no If I had one thing to have you focus on, it's stop worrying about pieces that are don't justify you worrying about. Like here, this bishop, And even if I were to worry, it would be this move, not this move, because by your own volition, you said if he goes here, you're not going to chase him. So therefore, he's just as annoying as he was here. Unless you're scared of this square. So,
well, here's sort of the thinking here. We talked before, and I'm going to get the terms wrong, and you can fix whatever they are. There's positions that are fluid, and then there's positions that are stable. The pawn is stable. It's blocked. It's not going anywhere. I can take that now. He might be able to move a pawn and protect it, but he'd mess up his pawn protection for his king. So I'm going to discount that. The bishop can move, and I lose that. So I threaten the bishop, which is a transient position, as opposed to the knight, as opposed to the pawn, which is a position that's it'll be there, like I think I said to you. Yeah, I didn't account for that.
Okay.
But I wound up trading the bishops and getting a pawn out of it.
Yes.
I think he got a pawn back, so it evened out anyway.
Yes.
But that was the thinking there, which is correct.
And remember, as Phantasm said, you take here first the more threatening move, right?
Correct.
The more forcing move is this. And now that we played the more forcing move, we can still go chase the bishop later.
Right.
Yeah, I can chase the bishop next time. Why am I chasing the bishop when I can chase the queen? And as you've noticed, what happened was now when you take, you end up trading pieces. You only you're actually up a whole piece. So trading pieces isn't the worst thing in the world. But you have you have all these pieces and they're all pointing over here already. I don't like you wasting time chasing.
I wound up getting an extra pawn out of this by doing it this way, though. If you go one more move, so now he should take that pawn back, and I think at some point he will, but he won't. But that's
No, he does right there, and we get to this position where you're up a whole piece, but then we make a mistake.
Right.
Yep. Okay. But yeah, in general, I don't want you wasting time. I mean, so two points to that is, if you really want to chase the bishop, at least do it this way.
Right.
Then my critique would be very small, right? It would be still, hey, you still could have chased the queen, blah, 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 blah. But hey, you protected the center. Remember, he takes this pawn later. He ain't never going to take that pawn because it's protected by a pawn.
Right.
And so now you do the same deal, and you're a much, much happier camper. At least you should be. And you just got to figure out, do you want to push this pawn?
Well, I take the free pawn. I take the free pawn.
Oh, and you just take the pawn. Yeah, you could take the pawn threatening here. And if he comes over, and now you just have to move your knight or protect your knight.
Right.
I mean, you could just say, I'll just come back here. I'm going to protect it later. Yeah. You still have this threat coming. So, yeah, life is good. Much more solid. But much more solid would be just take this baby first. And as we saw, he only has two feasible possibilities. And this one is losing. And this one keeps him in the game for a little bit. But, wow, I'd be much happier with that situation, with his queen stuck over here. By the way, with his queen over here, since I know you don't mind queen trades, you can say, let's trade queens. I don't like it. Never mind. That drops that pawn. So here I might chase him first. And even if he comes after my knight, then maybe I take the pawn and say, okay. Yeah, I kind of like this. Anyway.
Yeah, we what I refer to this as we got a little cube.
Yeah, oh, by the way, King says, to generate a counterattack, what I was talking about with you, that he could do this move if he gets the chance, but King, he didn't really have time to get it in. But I actually, he can't do it then either. Yeah, he didn't have time to get it in, King. But actually, he made like a weird move way back here. Like, he made this move.
Yeah.
Which I think he did that because he was thinking he could do this, but he really can't until he trades. But yeah, again, I was telling you that he could have done this to try to do this to protect the pawn. And you were like, yeah, well, that's okay. He ruins his king, and that is true. But the next move, as King is pointing out, then maybe he can push it again and attack your knight and get back. He's trying to get back a piece. He's down a whole piece. So if he gets to push that and then push again and get his king out of the way and get his rook on the file, who knows what might happen. Good things for him might happen. Anyway, all right, we went over 4 games. We found a couple of patterns I want you to remember, especially the rook being attacked by the bishop. And we have the not worrying about these silly pieces that are in certain positions that we don't have to care about, right? We don't have to focus on this guy, and then it carried over because then you focused on this guy. You got worried about this knight. And you
Can
still
we go
have,
back?
Yeah, how
I'm
far?
sorry. I thought you were done. Sorry.
Oh, I was just going to say, so those are twice in the same game. We're worried about a piece that's on literally on one row into your side of the board, and neither piece was actually, it was a bluff, right? If you're playing poker, it was a bluff.
Right. Well, the bishop I realize is more of a bluff. The knight's dangerous because
why? How's
the
this
knight
knight dangerous?
in this particular case, no.
Well, that's what we're talking about. That's like
Right.
saying,
Well,
it's like saying
you're talking specifically. But
yeah, because if you have
generally
two pair,
speaking, the knight, like you said, jumps around. You got to be more. I've had the knight jump to C2 and it forks the king and the rook in the corner.
Yeah, knights are tricksy.
Right.
But just
right.
check and make sure the knight has no squares.
Right. Okay.
And once you make sure the knight has no squares, then don't worry about them. But I understand you, in general, knights are scarier than bishops. I'll agree with that. And a knight on a fourth rank centered like that, that knight is scary.
Right.
But not scary enough to make me chase him.
Right.
Because he ain't really scary. It's a bluff. It looks like he's scary, but he ain't that scary. And I can be scarier than him if I just attack these squares.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So we have those for you to look at. Let me go right now to. I want
to ask you one quick question.
Sure.
Is it this game? Let's see which one it is.
Find the game and let me know because I'm not looking at the game at the moment. I might already have a command. Let me make sure I don't have a thinker teacher command. Do I have a thinker teacher command? No, I don't. Okay. I'm going to create a thinker teacher.
Okay.
Command.
What are we supposed to be doing here?
Oh, okay. 1 second. Check out the only other full time, all the time chess teacher on Twitch. Thinker teacher. And I should do it with the link, so let me do the link. So twitch.tv/thinkerteacher. If you want, let's do this. If you want to improve your game, check out the only other, wish I can do italics and stuff, but you can't. All right. And that should be as often as I want. Okay. Boom. All right. Now I've got a thinker teacher command. Okay. Go ahead. You were saying.
This is your gambit without the knight.
Yeah. Without the knight on F6. Yeah.
Right. So what should we be doing here? Because I did this in the game and just sort of felt my way through.
You did it. You were aggressive.
Right. So
this is the one you have to worry about, and you have to. This is the one that you would look up. What do I do?
Okay.
You need to look it up and say, okay. How do I play against this? They don't do that. If they take your happy, well, you're going to take here anyway. So that's not. What do they do if you do this? I know they move the knight. Then I think it's got to be here. Normally you do this to keep the queen out. I think you're fine. I think we'd have to look at it. Now you could look at the opening database, and we're not going to find any master games, so we're going to have to go to lead chess games. And okay, so from here, by far, you're going to find, and I'm at a high rating, right? This is at a high rating. E takes F4 is by far the most common move. D6 is played. Bishop to C5 is probably the one that you should be asking me, what do I do? That's a little tougher. Knight to F6, bishop to B4, F5, D5. There you go. There's a D5. It's only been played 34 times when the game has been played over 5,600 times. So you're not going to see it that often. All right. But anyway. So it's not the main line by far. So they take, and you did great. You developed the knight. Keeps the queen out. hits that center square, you're doing great. And he murphed his pawn. You played it fine. This is perfect. You played every move up to this point the exact same moves I would have played.
Okay.
You played the exact same moves I would have played. You played the same move I would have played. I probably would have played that because I want a castle. And I would have definitely castled. And there's where I thought he might have been try to be more aggressive, but he's down a whole piece. So everything you did so far, I would have done. Here, I would have not done that. I think that's the first time that you moved something I wouldn't have done. Not that it's bad at all, but I probably would have played chase the queen first. Knowing me, I would have been like, let's see where he goes. I would have been like, let's see where he goes. That's the only move that you made that I wouldn't have made, but who knows? I mean, maybe I'd been in an interesting mood. I might have tried it. But see, this is where, again, I don't like, I feel like he might get some momentum if I go there, but not too much. I mean, I have this, and then I have this to chase the knight if I want. I have this to chase the queen, and he's still open. These squares are still weak, and the bishop still isn't out yet, so I'm still kind of, I wouldn't be too scared of this, after all, now that I'm analyzing it more. But this would be the way, if I'm going to block the bishop out, I'm going to block him out that way. Now, he might go here so that he can eventually get this alignment, but it's going to take him some time. I could even chase him here, and he could say check, and I go, okay, then I move, and then he still has, he has to find time to get any attack going. And I'm liking chasing that queen again. Now the queen doesn't have that square, that square, that square. He can go back. He doesn't want to leave the pawn because I'm going to snatch that pawn in the first heartbeat I can.
Right.
I'm feeling pretty good. So he's got to protect the pawn. So he is here or here. Can't go there. He can go here, but then no, he can't go there. I don't think he can go there and live. Anyway, but yeah, so you played it fine. This was all good. This was good. Now the only difference so where I'll move 11 before I would make a totally different move for sure than you did.
Okay.
So I would think without having any clue how to play the opening, like you said, you only knew 5 moves. I thought you did great. You did great.
Well, the openings were, for the most part, pretty good.
Right. And that's why I keep telling you, openings don't matter.
I did the homework. Well, it saved me time. It got me out of the gate. And I studied the top 1 or 2 moves for everything. So I think with one exception, when I went back, I did the second best move in one case. So for most cases, it was I remembered the right move to make for the first one. This was just sort of not sure how to play this. So I guess we did it okay.
You did okay.
Okay.
I think you did okay. I think you could do better, but I think you did okay.
Okay.
I'm trying to fix this other thing. There we go. All right, let's get this back to where it belongs. Okay, so yeah, I thought you did okay. Where we're falling down is still this faulty thinking about being worried about pieces in certain locations to the point where you're destroying your own structure and making your own piece or helping them improve their pieces just to get them away from you, and there's no reason. It's the proximity of this bishop is not going to hurt this king. That bishop is not even near this king. And by chasing the bishop, you're making him come back towards your king. So we don't want to do that in general.
Okay.
I don't want that bishop near my king. And I want my pieces coming after his king.
Right. Or queen.
Well, the king is how you win the game.
Right, but in this case, I should have went after the queen instead of the bishop.
Yes, because you had a free pawn to do it at the same time. And so remember, the real benefit of this is my pieces are now getting closer to the king. Yes, I'm chasing the queen, but I'm doing it so I can go kill the king eventually. And it does help. So right here, you could take your time and figure out what to do because, here you could sit and think for a while. You still have a piece to develop, So it'd be nice if you got that developed. But you're looking pretty good. I mean, you know, now he's attacked twice, and I know you don't mind trading queen, so I know you wouldn't mind doing that as a move, as an option. But like you said, you could just take the pawn. But I see, here's where I would think queen is close to my king, and the bishop's helping, and the bishop's starting to look. I could see here if you told me you were starting to get nervous, I could see why. I could see nervousness here.
Okay.
But luckily for you, the knight holds the pawn, the queen is all by itself, and this bishop is blocked by the queen. So he really has nothing. It would be a bluff at best. But I could see if you were nervous here, and that you go, okay, I gotta get rid of this bishop, or I gotta get the queen to go away. I could see that thought process.
Would you try and trade queens?
Oh yeah, why not? You're up. You're winning.
Okay.
But
right.
me, I mean, you have this, right? So you could come here and play chase the queen again. But if you were to do things, well, you can't even go there. So, yeah, I don't even know where he goes. You can't go here. You can't go here.
Right.
So let's say he goes back to here. So if I move the knight, I get a discovered attack on the queen. So yeah, if I could find a square, like maybe even here, and say, ha, now I'm attacking. But then you get into a lot of trouble because that knight was doing good work. So you can't do it yet. And I don't even not even crazy about pushing that pawn. So yeah, I would try to trade the queen, but not on the exchange of losing the game. By the way, look, you get another fork.
Right.
And what would you do here?
Well, this is one that we've learned to recognize. If two pieces are facing off with a piece between them, the middle piece checks the king and you get the piece. Yep. So bishop takes h7.
Very good.